Plato's hidden world. Are we trapped in a shadow of reality? What if the world you see isn't the real one? That's the wild idea from Plato, an ancient Greek philosopher who said reality lies in a perfect world of forms beyond our senses. Welcome to episode 17 of our 100-part philosophy journey, where we dive into Plato's mind-bending theory of forms and why it changes everything. Today we're tackling Plato, one of the biggest names in Western thought. A student of Socrates, Plato took philosophy to new heights with his idea that the world we live in, full of trees, chairs, and people, is just a shadow of a deeper, perfect reality called the world of forms. If you've ever wondered what's really real or why things aren't perfect, Plato's got answers that'll make you think twice. So grab a notebook, get comfy, and let's explore Plato's incredible philosophy and what it means for us today. Let's set the stage. It's Athens, around 380 BCE. A vibrant city buzzing with ideas, politics, and culture. Plato, born into a wealthy family, could have been a politician, but he chose philosophy after meeting Socrates, whose questioning style blew his mind. After Socrates' death in 399 BCE, Plato founded the Academy, one of the first schools of philosophy, and wrote dialogues, stories where characters debate big ideas. His most famous works, like the Republic, explore everything from justice to the nature of reality. Today, we're focusing on his theory of forms, the heart of his philosophy. So what's the theory of forms? Plato said the world we see, touch, and live in, the physical world, isn't the ultimate reality. It's like a shadow or a reflection of something truer. A perfect realm he called the world of forms. In this world, everything has a perfect, eternal form or essence. For example, think of a chair. Every chair you've ever seen is different, wooden, metal, cushioned. But Plato said there's a perfect form of chair in the world of forms that all physical chairs are imperfect copies of. Same goes for beauty, justice, or even a circle. There's a perfect form for each, and our world just mimics them. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you draw a circle on paper. It's never perfect, right? A little wobbly, maybe smudged. Plato would say that your drawing is trying to copy the perfect form of a circle, which exists in the world of forms. That perfect circle is eternal, unchanging, and only knowable through reason, not your eyes. The physical world, according to Plato, is full of these imperfect copies. Chairs that break, circles that wobble, even people who aren't perfectly just or good. The real deal? That's in the world of forms, beyond what we can see or touch. Now you might be thinking, this sounds like sci-fi. And yeah, it's wild, but Plato was serious. He thought the physical world is like a cave, and we're all stuck inside, seeing only shadows of the real stuff. This is where his famous allegory of the cave comes in from the Republic. Picture this. Prisoners are chained in a dark cave, facing a blank wall. They can only see shadows projected on the wall by objects behind them, lit by a fire. These shadows are all they know, so they think the shadows are reality. One prisoner escapes, discovers the outside world, and realizes the shadows aren't real. They're just reflections of real objects. That's Plato's point. Our physical world is like the cave, and the world of forms is the true reality outside. Let's unpack the allegory of the cave a bit more, because it's one of Plato's most powerful ideas. The prisoners represent us, trapped by our senses, thinking the physical world, trees, houses, people, is all there is. The shadows are like the imperfect things we see, while the objects casting the shadows are closer to the forms. The escaped prisoner is the philosopher, who uses reason to discover the world of forms. The sun outside the cave? That's the form of the good, the ultimate truth that illuminates everything else. Plato's saying we need to escape the cave by using reason to understand the deeper reality. This idea was groundbreaking. Unlike Heraclitus, who said everything changes, or Parmenides, who said nothing does, Plato split reality into two. The physical world, imperfect, changing, and the world of forms, perfect, eternal. Why does this matter? Because it shifts how we think about truth. For Plato, truth isn't in what you see, it's in what you understand through reason. Your eyes might see a wobbly circle, but your mind can grasp the perfect circle. That's why philosophy, for Plato, is about training your mind to see beyond appearances. Let's apply this to everyday life. Think about beauty. You might call a sunset or a person beautiful, But that beauty fades, sunsets end, people age. Plato would say there's a perfect form of beauty in the world of forms, and all beautiful things in our world are just trying to reflect it. When we call something beautiful, we're sensing a glimpse of that perfect form. Same with justice. Laws and actions might seem just, but they're never perfect. The form of justice is the ideal we're aiming for. Plato's point is that chasing these perfect forms, through thinking, questioning, reasoning, helps us live better, wiser lives. Now let's talk about how Plato thought we know the forms. He believed our souls existed in the world of forms before we were born, so we have a kind of innate knowledge of them. When you learn something, like what a circle is, Plato would say you're not learning something new. You're remembering what your soul already knew. This is his theory of recollection. And it's why he thought philosophy is about waking up to truths we've forgotten. Sounds mystical, right? But it's Plato's way of explaining why we can grasp ideas like justice or beauty even in an imperfect world. Plato's ideas weren't just abstract. They shaped his views on everything, like politics. In the Republic, he imagined an ideal society ruled by philosopher kings, people trained to understand the forms, especially the form of the good. Why? Because only those who grasp the ultimate truth can govern justly. He thought regular people, stuck in the cave of appearances, might make bad choices. Like voting for flashy leaders who don't know what's truly good. Sound familiar? Plato's ideas about leadership and truth are still super relevant in today's world of politics and media. Let's get practical for a second. Plato's philosophy can change how you see the world. Next time you're frustrated that things aren't perfect, your job, your relationships, your art, think like Plato. Maybe the imperfections are just shadows, and the real goal is to aim for the ideal. When you argue about what's fair or beautiful, ask yourself, am I stuck in the cave, or am I reaching for the form of justice or beauty? It's a mindset that pushes you to aim higher, think deeper, and live more intentionally. Plato's influence is massive. His academy lasted centuries, training thinkers like Aristotle. His theory of forms inspired Christianity, where God's perfection echoes the forms, and modern philosophy, where debates about reality and perception still rage. Ever heard of Platonic love? That's from Plato, describing a pure love focused on the soul, not the body. Even sci-fi like The Matrix owes a nod to Plato's cave, where reality isn't what it seems. His ideas are everywhere, from art to science to how we think about truth. But Plato wasn't perfect. Critics, like Aristotle, said the world of forms is too abstract. How can we know something we can't see? Others argued Plato's ideal society sounds elitist, with philosopher kings ruling over everyone else. And yeah, the idea of a perfect world beyond ours can feel out of reach when you're dealing with real-world problems like bills or breakups. But that's what makes Plato so compelling. He challenges us to look beyond the everyday and aim for something greater. Let's talk about his dialogues, because they're how we know Plato's ideas. Unlike Socrates, who didn't write anything, Plato wrote dramatic conversations, like plays, where characters debate big questions. In the Republic, Socrates is the main character, but it's really Plato speaking through him. Dialogues like Phaedo or Symposium tackle love, death, and the soul, blending logic with storytelling. They're not just dry philosophy, they're gripping like philosophical novels that make you think. One more thing about Plato. He wasn't just a dreamer. He tried to make his ideas real. He traveled to Syracuse to advise a ruler, hoping to create his ideal society. Spoiler, it didn't work out. Politics got messy and Plato nearly got sold into slavery. But his willingness to test his ideas shows he wasn't just theorizing. He wanted philosophy to change the world. Let's wrap up with a takeaway. Plato's world of forms isn't just ancient philosophy. It's a call to look beyond appearances. Next time you're caught up in the chaos of life, bad news, imperfect plans, endless scrolling, channel Plato. Ask yourself, what's the deeper truth here? How can I aim for the ideal, even if it's out of reach? His philosophy teaches us to question, reason, and strive for a better, truer way of living. If you're loving this journey through ancient Greek philosophy, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Drop a comment. Do you think there's a perfect world of forms, or is this world all we've got? Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in episode 18, where we'll dive into Aristotle, Plato's rebellious student,